All right, let's go ahead and do a microphone check real quick before we get going. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Good to see you, soul suckers. These 1, 2, 3, 3.
No, the 1480 bus. 1480 bus. Watching over Pennsylvania.
Big brother trying to mess with my head. He whispers sweet nothing, things better left unsaid. We got our ears to the ground, our eyes wide open and keen. No gaslight, shadows gonna dim our screen.
You're watching Sleuth Intuition Live, hosted by Patrick Vallejos. He is here with the Sleuth crew. Here's Sleuth.
What up? What up? Welcome back to another episode of Sleuth Intuition Live. This is where we hit you guys with some true crime news and highlight a new case every episode. This episode's case highlight is going to be Spencer and Monique Tepe and the unsolved crime out of Columbus, Ohio. How's everyone? I hate soul suckers. What's up? So once again, we're going to ask those questions that we hope nobody ever has to ask about us, right? Was this an opportunistic murder or was it targeted? Right. And the case that we're covering today is going to be a missing persons case. Linda Brown out of Chicago. I believe she was a teacher for the disabled. Her husband said they went to sleep together, and when he woke up, she was gone. How many times have we heard that? Yeah, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but her husband said, "Oh well, I thought she went to an acupuncture, appointment. So maybe there's something there. You know, who was this appointment with? Who was expecting her?" But we all know typically what happens, right? I woke up and she was gone. Chris Watts, Josh Powell, Scott Peterson. That's just your typical story because that's the only story that makes sense, right? What do you mean she's just missing? I don't know. Like, I have no clue. I woke up and she was gone. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for her husband. Yeah, she's definitely dumped somewhere. They found her car, but law enforcement doesn't want to say where. I don't know if it's because they're searching the area and they don't want all these damn crazy social media online sleuths. I can't stand those guys. What's wrong with those people? Can't they just mind their own fucking business? What's up, Exotic? All right, so that's what you can expect today. We're going to talk about Linda Brown's case. She's missing out of Chicago. Some updated information about that case is they just found her car. But just like we do every episode, we're going to highlight a case. We highlight different cases every episode. We're going to look at Spencer and Monique Tepe. And we're going to start our investigation. We're going to be covering this case not only on Sleuth Intuition Live episodes, but exclusively. You know, this case is everything that a case needs for social media to be helpful, right? Just like the Delphi case. This case has its very own bridge guy, probably a social media connection can be found online, right? Through Facebook, through connections. But what we're going to do is we're going to do the victimology first before we do anything with this investigation. So we'll start there. But first thing is first, let's go ahead and take a look at some crime news.
Breaking crime news.
There she is, still missing. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick case overview on this one. Linda Brown, age 53, occupation, special education teacher at Robert Healy Elementary School. Last seen Saturday, January 3rd in the Bronzeville neighborhood. I'm not too familiar with Chicago. January 3rd, 2026. Brown left her Bronzeville home in the morning, reportedly heading to a scheduled acupuncture appointment. And how do we even know that that's true? You know, all the information we're getting is from her husband. He's the last person to see her. Every time we have a horrible crime like this, where it's a husband who is responsible for killing his wife, I mean, it looks just like this. And I hate to jump to conclusions, but I think it's this type of situation that you definitely want to lawyer up, like very quickly. Because, I mean, come on, the story is, and he's giving you the story, right? He's telling you the story that they watched a movie together. They went to bed. He went to bed early. She stayed up. And they went to bed together. They were sleeping together at some point. And she was nowhere to be found in the morning. He assumed that she went to a scheduled acupuncture appointment. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, he's got to be the prime suspect. Absolutely. But that's just because that's what's on the surface, right? And that's what you should expect. He's the last person to see her. And all of the information comes from him. Everything we know about where she was going, her victimology, at least for, the day before and this day, it's all going to come from him. And he could be just there to control the narrative away from him, right? Look over there. Playing the grieving or confused husband. And he could be. I mean, don't get me wrong. It could be. Yeah, exactly, soul suckers. It would be a derelict of their duty if he wasn't the prime suspect. And that's it. Prime suspect, right? The closest people to you, and then they clear him. Boom. Right? Polygraph, alibi. Check your history, any history of violence. Page out of Brian Walsh's playbook. There you go, Brian Walsh. There's another good example. Brian Walsh. Yep, add him to the list. That's a perfect example, Exotic. If I were police, I'd look at every camera around the dumpsters. Well, they found her car. So if anything, He put her in the car, or they left in the car. This is probably more like a Steven Stearns type situation in the Soto case. Murdered in the home, and then dragged to the vehicle, and then taken to a secondary location, a dump site. I hate that word, but I mean, it's a technical term. I just hate the thought of people being dumped like trash. You know, it's almost something like a psycho would say. Oh, it's the dump site. That's where they dumped. You know, you take trash to the dump, not people. But it is a physical act, right? Dumping. All right, so January 3rd, 2026, Brown left her Bronzeville home in the morning, reportedly headed to a scheduled acupuncture appointment. She took her phone, her purse, and credit cards with her, which her family says is very out of character. What do you mean? Why would it be out of character to take your purse, credit cards? Oh, maybe she doesn't typically take her credit cards? When she didn't show up and couldn't be reached by phone, family became worried and reported her missing to the Chicago Police Department. Police issued a missing persons alert and started searching, describing her possible route and that she might need medical attention. So I believe there is a mild history of mental health, but nothing like this. All right, confirmed. Brown's blue Honda Civic was located by authorities, according to her husband and family. Police are not disclosing the exact location of where it was found because the search is ongoing in that area. Despite the vehicle being found, Linda Brown herself has not been located. Okay, I pulled a couple videos so we can kind of hear from the husband, and then I want to get your opinion on what you think about him.
Gosh,
I'm Don Hasbrook. The search continues tonight for that missing Chicago teacher.
Leslie Moreno live at Robert Healy Elementary School in Bridgeport, where Brown teaches. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, he says the last time he saw her was on Friday night. He says they watched a movie together. She went to bed early, and when he woke up, he says she was already gone.
Come on now.
Husband's desperate search continues.
Broke down. We got people on it. We know we could just wait.
Chicago police say 53-year-old Linda Brown was last seen Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I don't see like any cuts or anything on his face. I don't see anything on his neck. So yeah, you would definitely have to do the victimology on this case and get an idea of what their relationship was like. Could she have been seeing somebody else? Could she have been being catfished by somebody? If she's a teacher, was she being targeted by a student? If she's taking care of special needs kids, maybe there was an issue that she was having with one of her students. So I can't really get a read on this guy because I just automatically don't trust anybody. But right off the get here, I don't see any superficial wounds, any scratches. Like his eyes don't look all bloodshot or nothing either. I don't know what that is. CJK, what's up? Welcome in. Let's see if we can get his hands in the screen there. Wait, what's that? It looks like he's got something going on right here. It's hard to tell though.
We got people on it. We got people searching for it. I'm out of options. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, but just wait.
Chicago police say 53-year-old Linda Brown was last seen Saturday afternoon.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not really getting a read on the guy. I mean, in my book, he's definitely the prime suspect, right? But even he should understand that. And that's why it's important when you're in the same position as him. If you're ever in that position, hopefully that never happens to you, But if you are ever in that position, it's good to help out as much as you can to help clear yourself. You do not want law enforcement wasting all of their energy and all of their resources on you if you're innocent, right? It's no time to get emotional and be like, "Oh, I can't believe you're accusing me," rah, 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 rah. You want to clear them out, polygraph, boom. You can even have an attorney with you. Like, I only want to answer these specific questions. That's it. And I want to get out of there. Alibi. Here it is. Here's my entire alibi. Alibi, polygraph, blood test, DNA, everything you need. Here you go. Here's my phone number. Here's my work number. And here's my uncle's number. He always knows how to get a hold of me or something, Tell me how I can help. Because you don't want these cops getting tunnel vision. You're stuck. Whoever the investigators are for your district, that's it. You don't get a second choice. Whoever's jurisdiction, whoever's running that homicide investigation, that's it. That's your man. You better hope he fucking gets the job done. And if it's anything like Delphi, they're not up for the task always. It's a scary thought. And sometimes they knock it out the park. So hopefully Linda can get a good team here. And if Antoine is innocent, hopefully they can get him cleared. All right, guys, what do you think about the Linda Brown case? I mean, they found her car. I mean, what's that tell you? I mean, how many times? Well, I guess it has happened before, right? In the Hannah case, she ended up taking a trip. She planned a trip to New York and said, "Screw it, I'm going to Mexico." You guys remember the Hannah Kobayashi case? Like, we were out here frantic looking for her, like we are Linda Brown. Come to find out, she wasn't even missing. And in the Kobayashi case, her dad was so worked up, he like left work, came out here looking for his daughter, and then ended up taking his own life. I mean, life can happen like this, guys. And I feel like if you're not paying attention, true crime will just hit you, boom, when you're least expecting it. That's why you just always got to be expecting it. Stay paranoid. That's going to be the next t-shirt. Stay paranoid. So we'll have those in every color. Yeah, make sure you guys are buying the merch. So we have 5 pieces that are going out this weekend. So all of you have purchased the merch. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think about it. Make sure it fits right. Make sure you're happy with the colors. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ship out the merch every weekend. So if you want to catch the merch bus this weekend, you got to make sure you pick it up. Otherwise, you'll have to wait an entire week. But if you're going to put in a custom order, I wouldn't even stress about it anyway, because it's going to take you an extra week anyway. But if you want if you're planning on getting merch and you want it to go out with everything this weekend, you need to put it in before, I would say, noon Saturday. Noon my time Saturday, Mountain Standard Time here in Arizona. I'd be shocked if it was somebody other than her husband. Sorry, I'm so skeptical. But look, we're completely ignorant right now, soul suckers. We have no clue. That's why you have to do the victimology, right? Find out if she's high risk, low risk, what she did, what was her day-to-day routine, because you never know. She could have been seeing somebody on the side. You never know. Could have been robbed. She could have went to pay her acupuncture bill, stopped by the bank, and somebody grabbed her and pushed her into the car. You never know. Is there a large area rug missing from the house? Is there a patch on the wall, freshly cut up carpet? Yeah, is there a huge chunk cut from the ceiling? I don't know. The investigative team right now, law enforcement, is being very tight-lipped about this case. So I think they have a pretty good idea who's responsible for this crime. So we'll see. Maybe they have a good suspect, whether it's the husband or not. I mean, obviously he's the prime suspect. All right, guys, let's get on with our true crime case highlight. And we'll be definitely following this case. So stay tuned and make sure you guys are subscribed and hit the bell icon so you can stay up to date on that. We will. Okay. Let's see. I have this broken down. I think we're just going to start with my notes, the victimology notes that I have here. What I want from the chat right now, what I want from you guys is to put everything that you know about Spencer and Monique Tepe. I want you to just put in anything that you can think of, just right off the bat. For instance, Spencer was a dentist. Any and everything that you might know about them. Okay, the double homicide of Spencer Tepe. He was 37. He was a dentist. And Monique Tepe, she was 39. She was a stay-at-home mother with a background in child education. This occurred on December 30th of 2025. Here, let's do this. Whoops. Sorry about that. What the hell just happened? Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about Monique's ex-husband. I think his name is Michael McKee. So I spoke to Michael's father today, and he asked everything to be kept off the record. I also spoke to the first homeowner. We talked briefly. That is off the record. I was trying to get an idea of the dangers of the neighborhood because it has a very mixed history. And I'm going to go over one of my theories that involves the regentrification of that area. It's not like a leading theory. It's more of a question. Just something I want to run by you guys. Something that came up during my investigation. Damn, Sleuth, you took what I was going to say. What was that? He was passionate about Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. Okay. What's that all about, Exotic? Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America, nonprofit organization. Our mission to create and support mentoring relationships that help all young people reach their potential. Okay. So what if he is mentoring somebody who has a troubled life at home, and for whatever reason the father gets upset? Stop meddling in the relationship between me and my kids. So very interesting. Okay, so Exotic says passionate about the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. Soul Suckers, he's a dentist. I'm thinking he could have been mentoring someone. So let's take a look at the someone that we're looking at and maybe get an idea of who we think we're looking for. So let's pull up that CCTV footage. Let's see. This one is a zoomed in that I made. Okay, here you get a pretty good angle of him where he appears to be somewhat tall. So I think we're looking for somebody that's probably anywhere between 6 foot, maybe even 6'2" and 6'4", maybe. Do you guys agree with that? Exotic says, I saw a detective talking about that program. He was involved in it too. And he said a father was not happy about him mentoring a child. This detective I heard talk. Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. Mental health and angry people, sadistic people, they do horrible things for really stupid reasons. Right? The great Tom Webster says killing is dumb. Right? It shouldn't make any sense to you. If it makes sense to you, then something's wrong with you. Right? That's the whole problem here, is trying to make sense out of something so senseless. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get inside the mind of a killer. Can you be successful at that? I don't think anybody ever has. Because it's such a dumb thing. That is a great insight. The mentoree's father or father figure. Yeah, so we're searching for a motive. And that's what you're going to find while doing the victimology. You always start with the victimology. Well, at least we do here. I do, but maybe 6'3", 6'5". Here, let's watch this video first. This was the original widescreen. It almost looks like he was kind of crying right there. Did you see that? Like right here, it almost appears like he's like wiping his eyes, or he's doing something with his hoodie or his face. Okay, now the camera angle is kind of up. Wait, hold on. I'm not sure who that was. So if the camera angle's from up pointing down and he still looks tall like that, yeah, he's pretty tall. Because usually if you're short, that angle will make you look shorter. And if you're short, an angle from down pointing up will make you appear taller. Right? The Tom Cruise effect. You ask most people, how tall is Tom Cruise? I don't know, 5'8", 5'10", around there. He's 5'5". Jealousy is the biggest root of all evil. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to pull up this calendar. So when you guys are looking at this calendar and you're seeing that they were killed on the 30th, what's the first thing that kind of stands out to you? What's the first thing you notice when you look at this calendar and you see that date circled? What's your first thought? Don't be shy. Well, if it was somebody that he was mentoring, yeah, he may have knocked on the door. Like, hey, can I talk to you? Yeah, come on in. Yeah, let's talk this out. And then boom, boom. I know a lot of you out there are like, well, why would anybody do that? That doesn't make any sense. Well, killing is dumb. It never makes sense. Very rarely. The Bible says there's a time for everything, and that means there's a time to kill. So I'm sure that's when you're protecting your family. Would be the only time. Protecting yourself, others, or your family from a madman. Wind could have caught his eye to make it water. Yeah, he was like messing with his face. I don't know what he's doing. Almost like he was crying or something. But those separation walls between those back alley driveways are normally 7 foot. Yeah, but they have gates. People can walk through the gate. They have garages. Maybe they were able to come through the garage. Plus, this person looks young. In my opinion, this person is probably no older than 30 something. Before New Year's Eve. What else? Hey, what's up, Grunge? The photo with family and friends looks interesting. Which one's that? Let me see if I can find it. Is it online? You want to send it? Can you send it to me by chance? Let me see. Or is it one that's on like a Facebook or something? Just watched a short documentary about the case. What'd you learn? Comment made about a brother. I know that Monique has a brother. Monique has a brother. I think what the hell was his name? She has an older brother. And before she got married, her actual last name is Sabatursky. So these are the only people to ever live in that address. So we have the first person to own the property, who I spoke with today. Asked me not to say anything. Monique Tepe and Spencer Tepe. So it looks like right around 2017, according to her Facebook here. Let me see if I can pull it up. It looks like that's probably right around the time she got divorced. Right, she's out with the girls. She's drinking beer. Right, she's definitely not married here in 2017. So this looks to be, and I believe they were married in 2021. Don't quote me on that. But no record of anything prior to this. So what else you guys got? Anything else you wanted to add? Here, let me go to my notes here. Spencer and Monique Tepe were known in their community for hosting social gatherings at their home. Neighbors and acquaintances have mentioned these events, which sometimes drew a crowd, and they were part of the social life surrounding the residence. So this was kind of like this was like the art district of the area. We have something very similar like that out here in Phoenix. You know, they do something that's called First Fridays. You know, everybody comes out, all the artists, people trying to sell stuff. The bars are popping, you know, all these little bars have like DJs in them. Like it's pretty popping. It's fun. First Fridays. And it's in the art district, which is very similar to how it, you know, the vibes that I'm getting from, I think, what's it called? Hold on. There's a term for it. The Short North Posse. So before they like regentrified this entire area in around 2009, all the way from 2009 to about 2017, this entire gang, Short North is the name of that art district. And law enforcement, this posse basically took over the whole area. You know, they were running drugs. They were running it like a mafia. They own that area. Short North Posse. Well, in order for them to regentrify this area, they literally had to indict the entire gang. Some of them turned state's evidence. Some of them are still in prison right now for murder, but some of them have been released, even a couple recently. So the theory that I'm going to present a little bit later, and it's really more of a question for you guys, just something that I found during the investigation, is how much the area has changed, right? We're trying to figure out whether they're high risk or low risk. But when it comes to the area, in a way, it's still kind of high risk, perhaps. But we'll look at that a little bit later. Brother-in-law resembles the man walking in the alley, even though it could be anyone. Well, let's take a look. I don't think I've seen a picture of the brother-in-law. Okay, so social gatherings that sometimes drew a crowd. While it's clear that the Tepe home had hosted gatherings in the past, we do not know who, if anyone, was present the night of their deaths. From what I've gathered, if I'm wrong on that, guys, please correct me on anything. Law enforcement has not released any information about the attendees, and no official records confirm a gathering on that specific night. What this tells us is that the Tepe residents had a history of activity that might draw attention, something important to consider when looking at the environment surrounding the case It's a detail that adds context without making assumptions about the night in question. So if there's no forced entry, it makes us wonder, how did the killer get in? We have so far who appeared to be low risk victims. Spencer didn't show up for work. Immediately they called him, right? He probably had appointments. He was probably busy the moment he got there. There was probably shit he was supposed to be doing that night. They're like, damn, what the hell? Right? He didn't show up. Everybody freaked out. Probably had patients showing up like, hey, I have an appointment. I'm like, what the hell? And we're talking about a seasoned professional right here from everything I've gathered. Let's see. Let's take a look at his job real quick. Mark Valrose, DMD, Athens Dental Depot. Oops, we don't want to do that. We don't want to leave the live stream. That's not what I want to do. There we go. Okay, so, part of the victimology, where did they work? What did they do on a daily basis? Who'd they surround themselves with? Did they invite coworkers home from time to time? Was there something going on there? Maybe Monique apparently was a stay-at-home mother. 4 years ago, they got married and had 2 boys. They look very happy. They look lucky to have each other. They both look wonderful. They did look wonderful. Both beautiful, successful. Their house was amazing. Like the way they were just kind of living this upscale lifestyle right there, smack dab in the middle of the art district. They had everything, right? Social life mixed with parenting, with a successful career. Now, who would have motive to strike them down in their prime? Somebody who's not happy about that, right? Somebody who's not celebrating their success the way everybody else is, right? It sounds a lot like an ex. So that's why Michael McKee's name keeps coming up, because they separated. She was single for a short period of time. We saw it on the Facebook right around 2017. Single, ready to mingle, and then she's married to Spencer. And from that point, it looks like you couldn't take the smile off her face. All right. So this is the Dental Depot. Exceptional dentistry, compassionate care. I think this is actually a good time for us to listen to the 911 calls. Okay. So we'll go through this and then we'll listen to the 911 calls, because some of them come from his coworkers. So our dentists, let's meet the dentists. Mark Valrose, Dr. Mark Valrose, sorry. The deceased. I mean, they're living the dream. I don't know how much more perfect it can get. 2 beautiful kids, beautiful wife, successful husband. I mean, that might drive somebody crazy, right? What's the best revenge? Can anybody tell me? What's the best revenge, you guys? Especially when it comes to an ex or somebody that's just been trying to tear you down. Can anybody in the chat tell me the best revenge against somebody like that just wants to see you fail? What's the best way to get back at those scumbags? And then you got Michael. I think he's the head honcho here. I think this might be his office, and everybody else is kind of working for him. I think this is his practice. So Michael, I believe we can hear during the 911 calls. So let's give those a listen.
911, what's the location of your emergency? We got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
All right, I mean, that's what's going on.
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here and he appears dead. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it like kind of like?
Holy
cuddled,
shit.
Like, does he look like?
It doesn't look cuddled. I can't look.
Okay, all right, understand. Okay, and when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday. Okay. Yeah. How old is he?
37.
Yesterday. So they talked to him yesterday.
Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Just that's a
No drugs.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right. We're on our way.
Columbus Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home. Well, I'm currently in the state of Florida. I'm on vacation, but this individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
two
in
kids in the
Florida.
home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
Did you receive information that he may have been involved in an accident or?
No, ma'am. I just know that he is he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I don't know how else to say this, we're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
Okay. We will send somebody over as soon as we have an officer available, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Not report for work. I haven't been able to hold him 3 hours. We are on site and we can hear.
Okay, I just talked to somebody there.
They're all calling.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
Yeah, I just got a call from somebody and sent it back up for dispatch.
Okay.
Are you there? Because you're not showing that you're at the
No,
location.
I'm en route there.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
I think they blocked out the address.
Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm
It
kind of
looks
doing
like
the
we already
wellness.
had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to put the door in or just get in the house or what. So
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right, well, we'll send them back out to you.
Okay. So what that means is that the kids were walking around with their parents shot dead. Okay, let's take a look here. So the double homicide of Spencer Tepe, 37, a dentist, and Monique Tepe, 39, a stay-at-home mother with a background in childhood education occurred on December 30th, 2025 in their upscale home in Columbus, Ohio's Wineland Park neighborhood. The couple was shot to death upstairs between 2 and 5 a.m. Now, 2 is like here in Phoenix, that's when all the bars shut down. But if he had to work the following day, I don't know why he would be out drinking. But 2 to 5, that's kind of like the after party hours. But if he had to be at work the following day, I don't see him up. It's kind of strange. 2 to 5 a.m. with no signs of forced entry and no weapon recovered. The 2 young children, 4 and 1, were found unharmed in the home, and the case is being investigated as a targeted double homicide, not a murder-suicide. So one of the friends showed up to the home to do a wellness check, and he said he could see him on the ground and that there was blood. Sounds like a head wound. So that means that you have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old probably checking on their parents, shaking them, touching them, crying, mom, like what's going on. What is going to happen to those children, especially the 4-year-old that has a better understanding of what happened? Now, this is going to be a very lasting victimization on them. So let's go back here. Maybe I can zoom in on this for you guys. I think this is one of the guys that was calling. Everybody was calling in. They're freaking out. Where's Spencer? Where's Spencer? This isn't like him. Right? His boss called, and the people that work for him, and they were all calling in, freaking out. Let's see. Meet the team. It's mostly women. Camilla, Riley, Carrie, Carla, Emily, Hannah, Megan, Kim, and Cameron. So none of these guys are matching the description. Yeah, that's awful. What's going on, Eli? It's good to see you. Some of these 911 operators act like it's an inconvenience to do their job. Yeah, I mean, it's a little upsetting, but I think they get a lot of shitty calls. Like, for instance, here's probably the majority of their calls are like this. So somebody got their hands on a 911 call that was from that address. It was listed as being made from the address. And I believe it was around, I think it was a year prior, maybe 2 years before. But it wasn't around the time of the murders. But apparently at one of their little gatherings, their little parties that they throw, somebody got too drunk and started fighting with their boyfriend, and he was yelling at her, and she called the cops. So there were people posting this 911 call on X saying that it was Monique, and the family came out and had to set the record straight. But here's the call.
Hi, this is 911. We just got a hang-up call. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I promise. I don't need nothing.
Well, can I ask what had you call 911 in the first place? Like, were you having an argument with
Me and my
somebody?
man got into it, but I'm okay. I promise.
Did anything ever get physical?
No.
You guys were just arguing, nobody hit each other?
Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I have the information here. I can go ahead and tell the officers to cancel heading over to your address there.
Yes.
If anything changes, call us back.
Okay.
Right? So that's the majority of the calls they get. Right? I'm just drunk and I got in a fight with my boyfriend. Okay, what do you want me to do about it? Unless she actually was victimized and for whatever reason she's feeling pressure not to admit to it. I think as a law enforcement officer, you should still go answer that call, right? So here's a friend of Spencer's that kind of gave an interview. We'll watch this real quick.
If you listen to the voice, it's quite clearly
So when
not
he says when you're listening to the voice, he's talking about the 911 call. He's doing this interview to kind of clear up that, hey, there was no domestic violence. There was no 911 call from Monique about Spencer and, nothing like that. This is a friend of theirs, apparently a really close friend. And for whatever reason, he's giving an interview and providing a lot of information that kind of goes towards the victimology.
Monique. Everybody has seen the wedding video and has heard Monique talk, and it's obviously not Monique who's calling. Furthermore, I've been very outstated that, Spencer and Monique had people over a lot. They had, house parties, and they enjoyed kind of bringing people together. And, I think sometimes at these parties, people get a little too drunk. And that's, that happens. And from multiple people that I've talked to that were at this party have all stated, yes, we remember this happening.
Yeah, and the caller definitely sounded drunk, right? The officer's like, well, are you okay? Did he hit you? She's like, no. Kind of like she's realizing, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have called 911. Right? You threaten somebody, like, if you don't stop being aggressive, I'm going to call 911 on you. And now, because you've said it and you vocalized it, now you feel pressure to kind of follow through. But now that you follow through, you're realizing, like, okay, like this is not a toy to use during an argument.
The woman had just a little bit of a freak out, for lack of a better term. Maybe, was having some mental health issues at the time. But she called the cops from her cell phone. I know it says it was from Spencer and Monique's house. Maybe it was close. But she.
It says here the podcaster is the survivor. I'm not familiar with the survivor.
Was at this party, and she just had kind of a lapse psychologically, I think, at the time. And that's from.
So you hear directly from them, from a close friend of them, that they like to have parties. Could this be something that could point at a suspect? Somebody that comes over from time to time. Maybe somebody that became infatuated with Monique. She's a housewife. Maybe there was somebody spying on her. Somebody in the neighborhood watching her playing with the kids out in the yard, in the backyard. Maybe a close friend that was invited to the party and became infatuated with her. Is there anybody like that that might match the description? Speaking of description, let's take a look at that video again. Let's look at the zoomed up version. So I don't think we're looking for a skinny dude. We might be looking for somebody with a little bit of muscle tone, perhaps, or a little bit of weight to them. I'm seeing some broad shoulders, long torso, long legs. And one thing that really stood out to me were these boots. He looks like he's wearing nice, like a nice pair of boots, almost like work shoes or a nice pair of boots you might wear out. And I can't tell if these are nice jeans or really what's going on with the jeans. In this image right here, they appear to just be blue jeans. Right, you can kind of see the blue peeking through right here. But for me, it's the shoes. I always look at people's shoes, especially when it comes to men. I don't know why, but I judge people on their shoes. I just do. I feel like people's shoes say a lot about them. Who they are and who they're trying to appear to be sometimes. So I don't know. Do you guys agree with me on the boots? It's right there. It's the shininess that we're picking up right there. Overkill. Yeah, I believe the husband, Spencer, was shot multiple times. Well, the information that I gathered. He was shot multiple times, and then I believe Monique wasn't. So I don't know what that means. And I don't know. Maybe we will find out if Spencer has any secrets, right? In these types of cases, you just never wonder if they have a mistress or something. I really doubt it with these guys, but you never know. Some people have the perfect life, and for whatever reason, they make stupid decisions, right? They're their own worst enemies. Good to see you, Boston. Jari. Fight for Justice. Welcome in. Just joining here. Just curious what time, date. The call from female caller was crying. Most are assuming it was Monique. Thoughts? Yeah, it's definitely not Monique. I'm being told it was from a couple years prior or a year before. Here is the family kind of speaking on that. I believe this was on Reddit, is where I found this. So I believe this is a family member here. Bill here. This is classic Fox News. Just absolutely fumbling the bag. This call was made years ago, right? This call was made years ago by a woman who freaked out after taking an edible. Oh, okay. See, now Monique, one of her email addresses has 420 in it. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Did they get robbed by the weed guy? What are the laws in Columbus? Marijuana laws. Under Ohio law, the possession of up to 100 grams of marijuana is a minor misdemeanor, which carries a maximum fine of 150. Possession of more than 100 grams marijuana is a misdemeanor, punishable by 30 days in jail. Well, so it looks like marijuana is illegal. Wait a minute. Hold on. On November 7th, 2023, Ohio became the 24th state to legalize adult use cannabis. Okay. So it is legal. All right. So no black market weed. Trying to understand what type of risk we're dealing with here. High risk, low risk. What type of victims were the Tepes? And everything that I'm seeing so far is that they're extremely low risk. So that makes this personal. As of right now, right? Personal. We're going to look at another theory here in just a few. The day of the call isn't in question, so it sounds like two stories might be mixed up in your head. So basically, a family member came on Reddit and is basically telling him, like, look, it's not Monique. And they begin family bashing him and victim shaming. It's very disgusting. I don't even want to read it again. This is very upsetting. Okay, I'm gonna come out and say it. This looks like a white dude. Right? I'm just gonna say it. You know, I don't want to stereotype people by the way they look and walk, but I think sometimes you can. We're looking at a white dude or a very square minority person, right? We're not looking at anybody with any type of swag. Like we're looking at a normal dude that did a really bad thing, or a normal seeming. But as of right now, I think that we're looking at a white male. A white male with really nice shoes. I'm going to say really nice black leather, something you would wear out, but not with dress pants. I think we're looking at somebody that always has nice shoes. And he looks like he has pretty big feet. Maybe size 11, 11, 12, maybe bigger. Oh, we got that one. Yes, they needed to get out in front of that call because it would totally change the narrative of trying to investigate crime. Yeah, for us anyway, not for law enforcement. He looks like he could fit a profile of a father of a child that went to the Big Brother program. I mean, it's very possible. I would definitely get irritated if first of all, you're assuming that if Spencer is involved with the Big Brother program and anybody that he's dealing with the children, they must be coming from a troubled home, right? Well, typically when you come from a troubled home, you have a shitty dad. Right? You shouldn't be in a Big Brother program if you have a dad and a big brother. Right? Somebody that's actually there, you don't have to outsource for that kind of stuff. So to me, that tells me right away you got a shitty dad. Perhaps. It's an indicator. So if Spencer's dealing with these troubled kids and he's really helping them out and he's really like bringing a change into their life and they're showing improvement, they're doing good at school, he's buying them things and helping out with connections for the mom, like, hey, I know somebody here, just being helpful, being a big brother, almost like a father figure. Yeah, I could see that pissing somebody off. But to this point, I'm not sure. This to me seems more like a crime of passion. And you guys still haven't kind of picked up on what I was trying to convey with the calendar. So I'm going to give you guys one more chance. With everything that you know, they were killed on the 30th. Is there anything that stands out on a December calendar? Anybody? What's up, Bobby? Bobby. I agree. Bobby says, I'll be really surprised if they didn't know the person that did this. From everything that we found so far in the victimology, guys, I'm seeing low risk. I mean, they have some parties. We definitely have to learn more about what goes on at these parties. What type of parties. Something tells me it's just really innocent. Maybe passing around a joint, some wine. I don't see some weed and drinking some wine. I think it's totally fine. As long as it's legal, right? If it's illegal in your state, by all means, have at it. Doesn't say high risk to me. You guys tell me what you noticed about this calendar. If this is a personal attack, these guys aren't high risk. It's got to be personal. So if it's personal, what do we know about our victims here? The Tepes. They just got married. They just started a beautiful family. Sky is the limit for these guys. I mean, this is a tragedy that I don't think we'll ever understand. What could have been with this couple here? That means she has an ex-husband, Monique. So if you have an ex-husband who's looking from the outside in, cyber stalking, maybe even physically stalking Monique, what do you guys notice about the month of December that may trigger somebody? Right? You see this person that's supposed to be the mother of your children in all these beautiful Christmas photographs. I mean, look at this. Here, let's pull up Spencer's Facebook. You know, I like to document Facebooks before they delete it. Look at this. If you're the ex-husband and that's the girl of your dreams right there, you're like, fuck Spencer. This would be a nightmare. And blood would, especially around Christmas, right? Especially around Christmas. You've become obsessed. He's stolen your life, right? She's replaced you. If you can't have her, nobody can. So yeah, guys, if I had to guess, I'm saying they know, they know this killer. They know this person. And if they know this person, that means that law enforcement probably already knows who this is. They're probably gathering forensics, getting search warrants, or maybe even trying to find him. I'm not seeing an opportunistic killing here. But if it was, let's take a look at the possibility. Here's a bird. Now, if you notice here, there's kind of like these alleyways back here, and I believe that's where the suspect is walking. I haven't been able to locate the area yet. So if you guys know if any other YouTubers using like Google Earth or whatever know exactly what direction he was walking, I think that would be very helpful to know what direction he was going in after leaving the crime scene. So very beautiful modern home. Right. This home doesn't belong in this district. That's why they wanted it. It was perfect for them. More of a downtown area with a modern feel. I can dig it. I can dig it. All right, let's take a look at the home when it was placed up on the market. So I think it was put on the market in 2020. Purchased and sold right away. So whoever purchased it knew that it was going to be a good seller. For instance, look, it's sold for 487,000. Now it's worth 702. Quite the investment. Quite the investment. So you had a woman who purchased the home and then sold it a year later to the newlywed couple. Right? They were here after they got married, started raising their 2 kids, and somebody didn't like that. Unless you guys think it was the neighborhood. Look at that floor space. Nice little kitchen island. Shelves over there to the side. Sweet looking stove. Foosball table. I can get down on some foosball. Ask about, run tell that. Fight for justice. Dental profession, specifically dentists, have high suicide rate. They also have high divorce rate. Really? I wonder if it's the hours. He seemed like a workaholic. Right? His boss was like, he's never late. The fact that he's not already done with work, I'm shocked. Like everybody was freaking out. So if he's a workaholic, maybe that's leaving Monique time to make friends. Right? You make friends with somebody that's getting the wrong idea. Or even a boyfriend of a friend, right? Can become obsessed with you. You bring your friend around, they bring their boyfriend. Maybe they're not having such a good relationship. And then all of a sudden, this creep that she brings around somehow gets an attachment to you. Now he's stalking you, right? And then one day just shows up. But it almost sounds like they had a guest over. Like they invited somebody over. It's 2:00 at night. They allowed this person in for whatever reason. Maybe it was they thought it was strange that it was late. But either way, it's an emergency. Come in, and then he killed them. So here's the backyard. You know, I'm a short dude and I could hop that fence easily. But I'm kind of bouncy. I had experience hopping fence as a young kid. There's a technique to it. But yeah, this is really cool. But one thing I noticed is, look, the neighbors. Fucking looky-loos. Right? If you're a young, attractive mom and you're just kind of hanging out, you got your glass of wine right here, you're sitting down, you got the little ones just kind of running around on the little bikes and you know, hanging out over here in the grass. And you got Mr. Creeper over here, you know, watching you. That's the date that they were killed. Exotic. They were killed on the 30th. I just wanted you guys to see how close it was to Christmas. Right? If you're a disgruntled ex and you know your blood is boiling over and you're just enraged, Christmas could really set you off if you're going through a hard time. If you're having the Richard Allen effect, right? All of your walls could be closing in on you. And if you target somebody and you put all your rage and your pain onto somebody else and blame them for it, it could get really dark and scary. We've covered a lot of cases like that. I think there would be more of a history with the ex-husband if he did this. Exactly, Jari. That's why it's up to us if we want to know the answers or understand the story to find out. What's going on? What is the relationship between her and her ex? Unspoken heart stillness. What's up? Linda Brown is my teacher friend, and we pray for her. Yeah, pray for Linda. They found her car. I really don't know what's going on. I'm sure they suspect the husband right now, but that's just obvious. They could clear him tomorrow morning. He could be cleared, and they could have no answers for what happened to Linda. So make sure you guys are keeping your eyes open and digging. These cases are a good challenge for all of you social media nerds out there. Go out there and get your nerdery on. Be creative. Generate a tip. That's all we can hope for. Robert Bell, can you give a quick recap? Yeah, I can give you a quick recap. The double homicide of Spencer Tepe, who was 37, a dentist, and Monique Tepe, who was 39, a stay-at-home mother with a background in childhood education, occurred on December 30th, 2025, in their upscale home in Columbus, Ohio's Wineland Park neighborhood. The couple was shot to death upstairs between 2 to 5 a.m. with no signs of forced entry and no weapon recovered. Their 2 young children, ages 4 and 1, were found unharmed in the home, and the case is being investigated as a targeted double homicide. All right, let's see. Risk assessment. Investigators and analysis, including retired FBI profilers quoted in coverage, classify the Tepes as low risk. I agree. I agree with the professionals. Stable, professional, middle-class family with young children. No known enemies or disgruntled patients for Spencer or high-risk behaviors. Late-night outings, involvement in drugs and crime. They have parties and things like that. And it sounds like they might dabble in an edible here and there, but it's legal there. We looked it up. Routine lifestyle. Spencer commuted to work. Monique managed home childcare. Their predictability and responsiveness made deviations like Spencer missing work immediately noticeable. You guys heard the 911 calls. Okay, let's look at some key victimological elements here. Spencer, multiple gunshot wounds. And Monique, at least 1 to the chest. Both directly targeted in their bedroom area. So if they're targeted in their bedroom, that almost paints a picture that they didn't see it coming. Almost as if somebody snuck into the home, perhaps, or was trusted there to sleep over. Like, sure, yeah, you can stay the night. One night won't hurt. In the middle of the night, this person comes and kills them. Could be somebody going through some serious mental health issues right now that didn't have any issues prior. This could be sudden. Psychosis usually hits males right around that age, between 25 and 35. Their 2 young children, now orphaned and in family care. Like I said earlier, long-term psychological trauma likely from being in the home during and after the event. For all we know, they watched it happen. I doubt it. I have a feeling that this happened in the middle of the night, may have woken the children, but I think they just went to sleep, woke up in the morning, and saw their parents laying there dead. Okay, so let's start moving into this theory of mine, then we'll get out of here. Home, it's not really a theory. It's something to consider. So, home in an urban neighborhood, Wineland Park near downtown Columbus, potentially accessible via alleys, as shown in released surveillance of a person of interest. So let's continue looking at the yard. So here's the garage. I mean, anybody can sneak through here. Anybody can hop that fence. Right? More looky-loos back here. Look at that. Right? Somebody spying, obsessing, coveting. Shit, could be a serial killer. Could be a serial killer. I didn't really think about that till now. Certain types of locks. I don't know. What is that? A thumbprint lock? A while ago, I worked with her at hedge school. What do you think's going on with Linda? Unspoken. What's your gut instinct telling you about what's going on with Linda? That might help the public understand and help find her. Says great teacher, taught science and special ed. Yeah, what's your gut telling you? You know, what do you think's going on with her? You know about her. You know if she's high risk, low risk. She's having potential issues with her husband. He's the last person to see her alive. You know, is he a good man? Exotic says praying for Linda. Yeah, you got it. Sorry, can you tell if there's a friend of Linda Brown's in the chat? Over here, over here. Thanks for helping, Exotic. Yeah, that's awful news. She seems like a wonderful woman. You know, the thing about wonderful women, if there's men that are taking advantage of them, eventually they're going to come to their senses and say, you know what? Life's too short for this bullshit. I'm out of here. You know, and if you just happen to say that to a psychopath who lives a parasitic lifestyle, who has no plan B and can't function alone, right? They have those personality disorders, like a dependent personality disorder, right? Living like a parasite, and all of a sudden you got kicked to the curb. That's not a good feeling. How about I just kill you and get the insurance money? That's what a psychopath's thinking, right? Murder is always on the table for a sadistic person. Didn't they get married on January 30th, 2021? Yeah, it was right before their anniversary. So you have Christmas and you have their anniversary. I'm getting some X vibes. Like either we're dealing with the serial killer, somebody who is upset about the regentrification of the area, or a disgruntled, angry ex. I just don't see some random home invasion coming in and killing them in their room and then just leaving. Seems very targeted. He said she had her purse, keys, and credit cards. Cards were said to be run with no transactions. Yeah, I did see that. I saw that. That's what he told a local media. All right. So let's continue looking at the home. Nice double doors. Yeah, this shit is PM. I like this. It's a really nice place. I can see why they picked it. And from what I hear, this area was on the rise. You know, there's a lot of people developing here. $700,000 home. Shit. Definitely needs a paintbrush, but I can live with the white, bright white. So they have really good taste. But once again, damn looky-loos, right? Watching you through the windows constantly. Like Stephen McDaniel. You guys remember that creep? Killed Laura Giddings. He stalked her. He was a neighbor, went to school with her. You know, not really even a prime suspect. If he wouldn't have injected himself into the case, they would have never found him. But yeah, this could be one of those types of cases. Just somebody that might walk by and wave. Hi, Monique. Right? Just appears like you're walking your dog. Just something you do every day. But really, you're walking your dog so you can go spy on this girl that you're obsessed with up the street. Here's some more of the backyard. It looks like you kind of have a basement too here, or downstairs. I don't know what they call that, where it's like a half basement. There's a name for it. We have a lot of these in East Mesa. So he is kind of walking in these back alleys. So maybe he just hopped the fence or came through the garage. I think that's cool how they have these little garages in the back too. You can pull into them from the back alley. Yeah, I'm digging the setup. Yeah, definitely, Robert. Sounds like somebody that they knew. This appears to be targeted. Could have been inhaling some of that laughing gas. Shit, yeah. A lot of people doing a lot of crazy shit. Okay. So let's go into a quick theory. Not one that I'm really into, really, but it's just something that I found while investigating the case. So I'm going to get your opinion on it. We'll present the theory. Maybe you guys can take it further. Maybe not. It's just something that I've noticed. All right. So let me close down some of these windows here. That's probably why my computer's glitching out. Okay. So let's start with my notes that I put here. Okay, here's something I've been thinking about as I've studied this case. The Tepe residence was in a neighborhood that over a decade ago had significant gang activity. Since then, the area has gone through re-gentrification, property values rising, longtime residents displaced, and the neighborhood's dynamic completely changed. While there is no public evidence linking the victims to any gang activity, I can't help but consider whether somebody from the old neighborhood, angry at the changes or feeling pushed out, might have returned that night with violent intent. I want to be clear, this is my personal observation. It's speculation, not a confirmed fact. But in analyzing the environment and history, it's a possible angle worth keeping in mind as the investigation continues. So bear with me here. I want to show you guys a little bit about the Short North Posse. Now, they owned that area not too long ago, right around from 2009 to 2017. So right around the time Monique was single and ready to mingle, and shortly after meeting Spencer, you have a gang being indicted for basically running a part of the city, running rampant with crime. So let's take a look here. Gentrification. The Short North was undergoing significant transformation from a gritty, crime-ridden area where the posse operated to a popular art and entertainment district, bringing new business and condos. Residents facing instability might have looked to organizations like Volunteers of America for help with housing. All right, let's look at the gang activity. The term gang was synonymous with the Short North Posse, which was active in the neighborhood according to 10 TV. Their activities were centered in the Short North of downtown, and the area included East 8th Avenue and 4th Street. That's where the murders happened, right there in 4th Street and 8th Ave. So for the sake of time, let's watch this quick video. This is not a leading theory. I just want to something that came up.
Of the notorious
What's your
Short
opinion?
North Posse are on their way to federal prison, likely for life, after a jury found guilty today in 8 murders, a string of assaults and robberies. Good evening. I'm Colleen Marshall.
Split
And I'm
level.
Mike Jackson.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. The FBI had to relocate witnesses to protect them from this deadly gang that was based out of the
What's up,
Wineland
Gina?
Park neighborhood. And they've been around in one form or another for more than a quarter of a century. NBC4's Olivia Fecto spoke with neighbors in Wineland Park about today's convictions. She's live now with their reactions.
Well, my neighbors say Wineland Park has changed a lot, and they say they feel relieved about the changes they've seen.
Ask neighbors and they'll tell you. Wineland Park used to be a lot different.
It was just very rough up here. Like, no one didn't want to come up here or live or anything.
Crystal Johnson's family was hit by that violence. A cousin killed, an uncle shot. For her, it's a relief to hear 5 members of the Short North Posse, a violent gang once based in this neighborhood, were convicted. Christopher Harris, Robert Ledbetter, Rashad Liston, Clifford Robinson, and Deontay Osprey were found guilty on counts ranging from
Not one of these gang members, but what about somebody else that lived there? Maybe like an average Joe, somebody who may have been forced out, by the changing cost of living in that area. Here, I'm going to show you guys something. So this is where the theory came from. I was kind of checking out Google Maps. I'm doing the street view. And it starts in So this is what the Tepe home looked like in 2009. It was non-existent. Right? Just these rough apartments. They were referred to as projects online. I think one of these even eventually turned into a church or something. But they were knocked down. 2009, I think this is 2012. So they were knocked down and they planted a bunch of grass. I don't know. What's that look like? 2 acres right here, maybe? Oh, that was 2011. This is 2012. So 2012, now we have a sign. It says, watch this site. More good things are coming. Good for who? Right? If you live right here, I don't know if that's good. Especially if you're renting. All right. 2014. Check it out. They built their first home here. And 4 of them facing the other direction. So it looks like they're going to build, or 5. Or no, 6. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 facing that direction and then maybe 6 facing the other. With an alley in between. Okay, here's 2015. This is still 2015. Now they're getting ready to tear this old building down. And I believe they open up an outreach program. Hey, Don Spain, good to see you. Safe travels, my friend. Eyes on the road. So I think Zora's house. They tore down that building and they built, I believe it was called Zora's House, an outreach program, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see it here in the footage. And also, if you go take a look on Google Maps, you can see that they're constructing this building. So let me know what you guys think. I don't know if I have anything else for you. Here, let's finish up with the notes. No, that's it. We're done. All right, guys. This will be our 5-minute warning. If you have anything to add about the case, let me know now. Well, let me put that video back up of the suspect. Yeah, he looks like he has pretty broad shoulders. Not the biggest head. He's kind of got a pointy head. Kind of get an idea of the shape of the top of his head anyway, unless he's wearing a cap. Okay, this one I kind of focused in on the boots. Something's up with these boots. Right there. Here, let me go back. You see how shiny they are? This guy's not wearing tennis shoes. He's wearing like a nice pair of boots. I think. It's just that frame right there. Thank you, Jari. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. If you need to get a hold of me, you can reach me at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And guys, we got merch. Merch. Here, let me show you guys what we got. And then we're going to get out of here. That's pretty much everything I had on this case. We're going to continue to follow this case, though. So if there's anything that you think I need to see or that you feel is important about the case, let me know right away. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right. So if you guys are interested in any of merch, just remember 50, 45, 40, 50 for the hoodies, 45 for the hats, and 40 for the shirts. Looks like I'm going to do most of my shipping probably on Saturdays. So if you want anything that you see here, let me see if I have inventory here. So basically anything that you see here, you can get it in any color and any size. I might have it and I can ship it to you this weekend. And if I don't have it, I'll get it for you. So that one's the Dangerously Curious. Here's another one, Sleuth Intuition. We can do XXL. We can do 2, 3, 4XL, whatever. We got t-shirts. So I got some merch going out this weekend. If you guys want to catch that train, make sure you put in your orders through Cash App or Venmo, and then just email me what you want. So just remember 50, 45, 40. 50 for the hoodies, 45 for the hats, and 40 for the t-shirts. And as you can see, that's the one I'm wearing right now. I really like this one. And then there's just some of your basic t-shirts. So if you're interested, just send the cash with a passphrase attached to it, just something you make up, and then include that passphrase in your email, and then I'll get your shipping information and I'll get it out to you Saturday. These are the Sleuth Crew We're Everywhere t-shirts. So if you guys want to help out the operation here on the Sleuth Intuition channel, this is your best way to do it. Repping the Sleuth Crew while also helping out with what we're trying to accomplish here. And these hats are sick, by the way. Wait till you see the bill. Look at that. So it's your snapback trucker caps, Sleuth Crew on the front, and We're Everywhere on the back. So if you guys want to help out, that's a good way to do it. And if you're not into the merch or hitting up the Cash App, just hit the like button on the way out, or share the video, or consider becoming a member. Remember, Sleuth Intuition live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Every episode, we're going to cover a new case. We're going to highlight a new case. We're going to cover true crime news. And if we have time, we like to open up the phone lines at the end, and we can talk about any case at that point. You can call in, you can join the open panel, whatever. But Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 to 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we'll be here rocking and rolling. So you guys be safe. Shoot me an email if you have any questions about the merch. But yeah, I appreciate all of you who have already purchased some. I'm very grateful to you guys. Thank you for supporting this operation. And thanks for representing the Sleuth Crew. Let's keep it going. Peace.